And we're back. Hi. Welcome to the League of Extraordinary Atheists for Humanism, where we attempt to apply logic and reason to religion and politics. And we definitely did more than a 12-minute show this time. Hi, live chat. Hi, chat. Can't capitalize right. Okay. So, sorry, everyone. This is take 3 of, what day is it even?
Action!
14th, 13th, to the 11th, the 16th of November.
Act 43.
Act 43 of Cenk For Congress. Now we're actually going to get into what the title screen has said for the last 3 thumbnails. Again, so sorry. Thanks for sticking with us, everyone. We really, really appreciate you all. Okay, so as I said, Cenk runs for Congress. This is pretty dope.
I agree.
So here's the down low. Cenk will be running for Congress in California's 25th district for the seat that Katie Hill has just stepped down from.
Yeah.
After a pretty shitty, vengeful smear campaign from her shitty ex-husband, because she had a girlfriend that she shared, I think, with him, and they said
his girlfriend had a girlfriend.
Yeah. So whatever. Who the fuck gives a shit? I don't give a shit. Like,
it's
I
fine
care about policy. Yeah.
Right.
Like, especially if it was like consensual. Like, again, I don't care.
Yeah. If your day job is making the world a more egalitarian place, and at nighttime you like to have more girlfriends with your boyfriends, I don't care. Right. Or less boyfriends with your girlfriends, or more boyfriends without. I don't care.
I'd be happy for you. Look. After a long day at work, go be freaky.
Yes.
Please.
Yes.
Just come back happy tomorrow.
You're a mammal. Do mammal things.
Do mammal things. Do it like they do on the Discovery Channel.
With consent. Caveat.
Yes.
Consent.
I guess they probably don't do that on the Discovery Channel.
Some mammals don't care about that.
All right. Well, that said, Cenk is running for Congress, which is super awesome. If you don't know who he is for some odd reason, lift up your rock, throw it over, and turn on TYT, the Young Turks. They're an independent news going on for 17, 18 years now. They're like the oldest online
biggest
organization.
Biggest and oldest online news organization on the planet. Yeah.
Yeah, they do pretty well for themselves. And Cenk is the founder of it.
We have AOC because of TYT.
Yes, because of TYT and because of Kyle Kalinske. Cenk
because of
Kyle co-founded
Justice Democrats.
Justice Democrats, yes. You got it. You know this.
The only Democrats that I like.
Christy.
Yes.
You know what?
The only Democrats I like are the Justice Democrats.
Yeah, they're really the best ones.
Yeah. I don't like the Republican light ones. Or any candidate that is corporate.
Yeah, so this is a true progressive running in a purple district in a blue state. And this guy, to say the least, so that's pretty awesome. But if you watch, excuse me, the interview, which I don't have linked, if you go to YouTube and look up TYT and just Cenk running for Congress, it aired last night, which would be Thursday night, 11:15. It's at about, I think they started at like 2 hours and 45 minutes. They have an interview. They interview him as a guest on TYT. Anna Kasparian does the interview. And she also reveals that now she has full editorial control. They didn't think it would be fair or look good at all if Cenk still had full editorial control. So they relinquished that. He's going to focus on his run for this seat in Congress, and that's really cool. He's doing the right thing. He's throwing his hat in the ring because he feels like he can't wait for anyone anymore, right? If we don't get Bernie Sanders, to be our knight in shining armor riding in on a white horse,
right?
Then what the fuck we got to do? If Bernie Sanders does get elected, or Elizabeth Warren gets elected as president, excuse me, and things don't go quite as well as we thought, he's like, hey, I'm just not waiting anymore. I've waited too long and not stepped in the ring myself. I know I've said I wouldn't do this, but feel like I have to, because we can't just all sit there. So I appreciate the way he's looking at it and how he's going to do it. He's like, I'm not a politician. I don't want to be a politician. And that's why I'm going to be great in there.
He can't be bought.
Yeah, it can't be bought.
Yep. I don't want to be beholden to anybody but the constituents. And I think that anybody that knows anything about him knows, even if they don't like him, well, at least he's going to say it how it is. At least he is not going to sell out the people of the area he's going to represent for a corporation. It's just not going to happen. And I'd vote for a Republican that wouldn't be bought out. I'd vote for an independent that wouldn't be bought out. I'd vote for anybody who would represent the people only.
Yeah. And
Cenk, like you just said, if you're sitting around thinking, God, when is this person going to do it? Why don't you do it?
Yeah. I mean, yes, absolutely. Especially, I will say, if you kind of hate what you're doing now and you're wondering who's going to do something on any issue you're worried about, could be you, step up. If you think something needs done, if you want something done, do it yourself, right? If you're a billionaire trying to run for president, you could do that too, I guess. But if you can't do it, if you want something done, do it yourself.
You want to see.
Right. And if you can't do it yourself, or you see someone wanting to do it for you, support them. Right?
Yes.
Support them. That said, Cenk is running a grassroots campaign, of course, to help with his run on this platform of he wants money out of politics.
Yes.
He wants grassroots campaign. So I wanted to show everyone real quick, and I'll probably just go ahead and screen share.
Money out of politics is the foremost important issue.
It is, because we're not going to get anything done without it. So here is, excuse me, a tweet from Cenk Uygur. Our goal was 200,000 in the first 48 hours, and we're now at $152,920. Average donation of $27.47. 5,565 individual donors. Let's see if we can get to our goal in 24 hours instead.
Amazing.
That was over 24 hours ago, guys. That was over 24 hours ago. So I pulled up his Twitter before the show, the first time we started it. Excuse me. He had already gotten almost another 100,000 in that time. And I haven't updated again.
Wow. I mean, just think, in the next 10 to 15 years, just the Justice Democrats alone and our revolution and organizations like that want money out of politics could have done so much good that our next, not just president, but vice president and city council and everyone is publicly funded. Yeah. Our next president in 10 years could be publicly funded only. Oh.
Now look, Because there are downfalls to that too, I think. I don't think we necessarily want to just out of pocket fund every politician. Like we'll keep you engaged, but not everyone's going to be able to do that. That's kind of the issue we have now, right? That's kind of the issue we have now, is the people who have a lot of wealth can contribute to campaigns way more than anyone else.
No, we need to set up subsidies.
We need to set up subsidies. I've heard of voucher programs. You know, everyone gets a voucher. Like you get like $100. You know, whatever the taxpayers can afford together, everyone gets the same amount to use in a federal election. Everyone gets the same amount to use in a local election. Yep.
And you can split it up however you want. You can give it all to the federal or all to the however you want, but it's for elections. I love it. I love it.
And if you pair that with ranked choice voting, now you got some real good goddamn.
Now my heart's Twitter pated.
I got Christy going.
Nothing gets me hot like a saucy, honest democracy.
I just know how to get Christy going.
You sure do.
I do. All right. But I do want to say, although like there are setbacks to like going forward with just grassroots campaigns all the time, what we just said is the direction we want to go, right? We're not going to get showing that without doing it this way. So we need to be involved now when we have people like Bernie Sanders. We have people like AOC. We have people like Cenk Uygur, Ilhan Omar, the squad. We need to really prop them up over these next 10 years, really, and show them that this is what we want. This is what we want, and this is what you have to deal with now, because they're in the halls of Congress, and they're not shutting up.
No. And
we're pouring our money into them. If we do that for 10 years, I know that sounds like a long time to some people, but if we do that for 10 years, in economics and politics, that's not a long time. You can dramatically change the system. You can get that revolution that Bernie Sanders talks about if you get people in there who won't shut the fuck up.
Yeah. The MLK talked about that. You know, I implore all of you to listen to Martin Luther King's speeches, not his political, not his religious, platitude speeches, his real speeches. He was a democratic socialist. He wanted Medicare for all. Listen to those. That's Bernie's message still. That was when things were only in black and white. Like any photos from that time were not of color. We're still fighting those, still fighting those same fights. And I think that we can do it. I do. I know that's what they thought then. And we have come far, but not nearly far enough. We have so much farther to go, but we can do it. We can do it. All of us have to try to stay away from misinformation and show up for LEAH every Friday night.
Yeah, true that. Show up to LEAH. That's what we're here for. Also, we want to try to stay away from disinformation, but the way you do that is find disinformation and also find the right information. You got to contrast. You got to figure out what makes sense. And I know that's how you fall down one hole or the other. But that's why we need to teach critical thinking in junior high on up, and the list just goes on and on. We have a complete overhaul to do. We talk about it all the time. So to try to wrap this show up, we need to just keep going.
Yeah, we could have another malfunction at any time.
Yeah, we really could. It's hot over where Nacho is, and he's now pointing his fan towards his computer. Not himself.
And he's in the upside down. It's really hot in the upside down. So
it's night here, so like the sun's like on top of him right now.
Yes.
Excuse me. Okay.
And a lot of fire.
And there is a lot of fire.
And yes.
He says that in our chat. Okay, so the next one up here, I think is the Stephen Miller thing. I'm not seeing it pop up in our...
Well, there is the 7 counts with the man with Nick.
That's after Miller. That's after Miller. Hold on.
He's a fun one.
That for last. Or, yeah. Okay, so Stephen Miller. This one's going to be pretty quick because it's pretty straightforward. We don't need to dive into the 900 emails that were released by the Southern Poverty Law Center between Stephen Miller and his, or a writer from Breitbart News, a former writer. Excuse me. And I don't have any quotes right now because, again, I don't need to really go into it. But what we're seeing here is #confirmed white nationalist.
Yeah.
We all do. Don't know why we're freaking out about it.
He's Jewish.
That doesn't matter.
No, I know it doesn't, but it still confuggles my mind.
Yeah. I mean, every set of peoples tends to have their extremists.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you get someone in every single ideology, race, religion, who just have this fringe group of terrible people.
Right.
Who make everyone else look bad.
Right.
Atheists get that all the time. Feminists get that all the time.
Yes,
Black people get that all the time. White people get that a lot, but we really earned it. But hey, like I said, everyone has shitty people in every group. Excuse me, of people. Excuse me. All right, so things that were in this email is just kind of Hitler-like content. He recommends and quotes multiple times the Camp of the Saints, which all I hear about that book is terrible things. It's mostly about like immigrants and how do you deal with them? You kill them. He reached out to an anti-Muslim extremist and bunch of conspiracy theory stuff and racial identity and just a lot. And he shared a link from like a white nationalist website.
He typed in, "Show me every white supremacist site ever and sign me up." Enter.
Was that like on quote?
End quote.
End quote. Okay. Thank you. So yeah.
No VPN, nothing. Just save it all.
Yeah. And a group called Hate Watch reviewed like all of the emails and went through it. It's I guess it's pretty disturbing. I would like to go through it myself on anytime soon, but I do want to talk 3 minutes. Can we do this in 3 minutes, Christy?
Yes.
Okay. AOC and was the first one, but she's definitely one of the loudest voices. Are saying, "Hey, get this motherfucker to resign." Right?
Yep.
How do you feel about that? Because I feel like, he's a disgusting human being. He should be, but also, I have said before, and I want to stay logically, like, I want to stay principled.
Reasonable.
Yeah. I've said before, if there are people in the country who share white nationalist views, then we should have people representing the views for those people. I hate that they have those views. I think they should be squashed, but we can't squash them if they're not said.
Right.
So there's some free speech there. I don't mean to sound like Ray Dubin, because I don't agree with how he does things. But I do agree that a lot of people share those views. And if we want a democracy, those people need to be represented too.
Right, but I don't think they should be represented in the government unless, and I have a caveat, unless it is an honest election where they actually won. He was not elected.
Right, and no one knew necessarily.
Come on.
That he was.
He helped write the brown babies in cages laws.
Right, I mean, like, yeah. I mean, like I said, like, supposedly no one knew.
He cleaned his house.
One of the worst. Like,
so yeah, I say get him out of there.
Yeah, and I agree. And
who would replace him? We'll just have another empty spot where we'll have an acting blah blah blah. We have acting blah blah blahs throughout his whole administration because he doesn't want to fill them in. Trump still has hundreds and hundreds of seats that never got filled in our government. Just never filled.
Yeah, just never filled them?
Never filled.
Bernie Sanders will do it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, okay, that's the 3 minutes. All I want to say was that, and like I said, I do want to prop up the other side of the argument, and I do think there is some legitimacy to maybe having someone like him in some kind of position, so those people are represented. But also, when the cat's out of the bag, if people want him gone, that's also democracy. You say, hey, if he really is a white nationalist, get him the fuck out of here. We all want him out. It works both ways. So, food for thought for everyone. All right.
And maybe I'm too optimistic, but I am of the heart and mind that if the majority of humans had actual factual history and evidence, that they would not choose to be so hateful. I maybe I am too optimistic, but I just, when I'm handed information that contradicts things that I thought were factual, I had to rethink and come up with a new everything. And I do think that most people are like that. But if they were raised that way, where they always had factual information, they wouldn't have to go through a doubling down or their. I think that education and money out of politics would just change the world. And I know it sounds, fantastical, but it would. And our last story, which will make everybody happy. There's a man named Roger Stone who was found guilty on all 7 charges. And he has a tattoo of Nixon on his back that some big guy named Bubba is going to be looking at in prison. Okay, probably not, because he'll be protected. But it's still funny that someone will be looking at Nixon every time he takes a shower. And if you don't get fucked with for having Nixon tattooed on your back as a grown man, well, there is no other. You will get fucked with. There's no reason to do that.
Yeah. So, yeah, he was
7 charges. Guilty.
It's fantastic. He deserves it. I don't feel bad for the man.
No.
So yeah, that's some wonderful news. Another tidbit of news, which is not quite as nice at all, actually. There was another shooting in California. I'm sure you heard about it. I'm sorry we didn't get to talk about it more. We had a lot going on, and I found out about this last. So.
Yes.
Quick overview of it. It was in Santa Clarita. I heard that 6 people were shot, and then I also heard that 5 people were shot. But I know that two died. That there were 2 victims. There was one 14-year-old boy, I guess, who was a nephew to a Los Angeles sheriff or sheriff deputy. and a 15-year-old girl also was shot and killed. And also the shooter, who was identified as a 16-year-old male. They didn't share his name, at least as far as I've seen, but I haven't looked deep into it.
Yes, but survived.
He died earlier today, so the next day. Yep. They found a 45 caliber semi-automatic pistol with no more rounds in it. So luckily, only 2 teenagers died, but I mean, that's not really luckily, is it? So that happened. So I wanted to make that known because as often as it happens, we still need to mention it. So.
Yeah, because there's families right now that are just, their whole world is forever changed because of the actions of one person.
Yeah, and it's hard to look at my own kids after reading these stories. It's really sad. I have a hard time looking at my own kids and being like, oh, someone else is
It's a hard time looking at them when they're walking up to the schoolhouse as you're driving away. I can't. My kids went through that. My kids were born in the 90s. They did not know school without having drills, active shooter drills, but they've only gotten more, and I just couldn't imagine dropping off a tiny little, 5 or 6 year old and not knowing. I can't. It's definitely something that whoever our next leader is a lot rides on it. A whole lot rides on it.
Yep. So, that was another story from today. I don't think I have any more latest news. I don't have any other good news. Damn it, Christy. Can you think of some good news? I ruined it. I don't want to land on a low note.
Let's see. Good news. It was in the 60s today in Florida. I have a long sleeve shirt on and I had a scarf. Seriously. It's cold when it gets in the 60s here because the humidity is still, 100%. So it's cold. Or I'm a sissy. So I'm cold and it's a sissy. And I'm cold and I'm a sissy. And it's 25 weeks today.
Ah, yes. Our gray update.
Look at that. I know. 25 weeks. So I only have like 3.5 more years to go.
That's all. It's looking
Patience
real pretty.
is a virtue, I heard. I'm not very virtuous.
Well, you got pretty gray hair though, so that's all right.
I call them my silver strands. I have platinum growing out of my
hair. That should be under community news. Go and switch it to community news, not just the silver update.
Definitely.
So the only last thing that I have for community news is excuse me, sorry again about myself. We have maybe a special show next week. I don't know because I don't know what kind of time we have to prepare. But next week, next Friday, going past the midnight mark, is our 1-year anniversary.
It's our anniversary.
Here on Very Skeptic. Yeah. So, hell yeah! Thanks for everyone for sticking around as long as you did, and for the newcomers, we really appreciate it. If there's any updates, we'll put them on the LEAH Twitter, so you guys can check it out there. Also, I'll be here in this spot at 6 a.m. my time, Wednesday morning, with Topic Thunder. Kelly.
Yes.
So I hope to see you all there, or I hope you guys check it afterwards. We'll be talking about
alarms.
Wake me up.
That's
all right. We're gonna go because we are on a timer, so we gotta run. We love you guys. Thank you for spending your night with us every time that we were on. We hope you have a good weekend. Yep. Christy, close us out.
Stay humanist, for Godless sakes.